They're here. They're faithful. But they're just not part of the body of Christ. Because they've never submitted themselves to Jesus. They've never allowed Him to chastise them and to develop them. See, chastisement is a form of development to develop you into being what God called you to be. Quit running from chastisement. Quit running from God's discipline. Sometimes He has to use me to discipline you. And I'm not talking about I'm going to be intentionally browbeating you. I don't mean I'm going to intentionally beat you up. But I'm saying there is times that God will give me a word, and I think it's for Sister Bibi, and it's for Brother Mark. Are you listening to me? I may just be preaching, thinking I'm just preaching to the congregation. Somebody told me, I picked up a lady last week. She was supposed to have been to church last week. She never made it. She said she went to a church one day, and the preacher started preaching. There was a woman preacher, so she started preaching, and she was saying everything that lined up to me. She said, I got mad at my cousin. Said, why'd you tell her everything about me? Her cousin said, I never told her anything. She said, I realized later it was God, but at the time I was mad. Amen. See, there's times I might give a word, and I don't know who it's for. I'm just speaking what I feel led to say, and God is beating you up, and you're like, man, what did I do? Why is Brother Tim beating me up? No. God's trying to correct you. God's trying to line you up. And then there may be times that God will say, tell Brother Dennis something. And if Dennis is not careful, he'll be offended at me when God's just trying to develop him. Amen. What I'm trying to say, folks, when God begins to chastise you, you either accept it or you'll be considered illegitimate. I don't want to be God's illegitimate. I don't want to be illegitimate. I want to be part of the family of God. Amen. It says, furthermore, man, when you thought he was done, he says, furthermore. He just called me illegitimate. Now he's saying, furthermore. He's even got more for me. We have had fathers in our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Look, if your daddy spanked you and you still reverence him, how much more should God get your reverence? Amen? Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? You know, I was a couple weeks ago, my car had stalled on me, and my battery wouldn't start. I had to go buy it about a month ago. I had to buy another battery. So I missed work that night. But Taylor went to work. So I drove Tanya's car out to pick her up from work. And on the way out, I'm listening to Bill Johnson. And he was just sharing about how when his son was little, he used to go in and pray with his son and different things. And I just started feeling so guilty. Because it seemed like every time I turned around, I was whipping my son. You know, every time I turned around, I was spanking him because he was always doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. And I started tearing up, and I called him. I said, son, I just want you to know I love you. I know I've not been the best father. I know I've failed you in some ways. He said, Dad, you've never failed me. He said, you've always been a dad to me. He said, I understand what it's like now that I'm a stepfather. And I said, well, I was never your stepfather. And he said, I know you're my dad. And he said, but I understand what you went through because I'm doing it now. See, I used to get some of the worst tales told on me. I was the worst person in the world. But now he's experiencing and he's got it worse. He's got 3. I just had 1. I used to tell him when he was a kid, man, I hope you grow up and you have a kid just like you. Well, Logan came along. And Logan was worse than Jerry ever dared to be. And I teased Jerry, I said, I used to tell you, I want you to grow up and have one just like you. I said, now you got worse and he's not even yours. Amen. For verily, for a few days chastening us after their own pleasure. Dad took care of us out of his own pleasure. But he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness. If God chastises you, it's to develop you into holiness. He wants to make you holy. Now, I don't know if you've ever done anything. No, Lord, I'm sorry. That's the biggest lie. I know every one of you have done something, and moments later, you felt horrible about it. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I thought I was beyond that. See, we get a little spiritually proud. If we're not careful, Mark, we'll think we've arrived. And we'll say, man, I can't believe I did that. No, you better believe it. If you're not in tune with God, if you're not on guard, you will fall flat on your face. And then you feel lousy. You feel horrible. You feel unclean. You feel wicked. You feel worthless. Man, I told the Lord this week, I said, God, I feel like I'm worthless. I feel like I'm just worthless. Why? Just because I hadn't been praying? Don't take me wrong. I pray every day. But I just hadn't been spending that time with God. Amen? And I'll be honest with you, I found this station. It's called Grit. And it has a lot of the old westerns. and I've been recording this show that I love so much. It's called Young Riders. And it's recording 2 a day, so I got to keep up with them. Scotty, if I don't keep up with them, my DVR is going to be full. So I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, God, I need to be praying and seeking you. I'm sitting here spending too much time watching, and I felt worthless. I felt unclean. I felt impure. All because I'm not spending as much time with God as I need to. I'm going to tell you something, folks. If you continue that feeling goes away. But if you line back up, the more you pray, the more you want to spend time with God. The more time you spend with Him, the more comfortable you become with Him. It's like when you first start dating. You're dating this young lady and you really like her, you want to see her, but you need some time alone once in a while. So you go home, but the next day you want to be there. But the more you're around her, the more you want to be around her. Unless she's just some nasty girl that you... He's like, man, I can't believe I spent 15 minutes with her. But I'm talking about someone that you fall in love with. And the more you're around them, the more you want to be with them. And then when you do get married and you move in together, it's some adjustments, but you're comfortable with her. Because you want to be with her. That's the thing with God. The more time you spend with Him, the more comfortableness you achieve and the more you want to be with Him. Then when you're separated, you can't hardly wait to get home. Remember when I first got married, man, I'd go to work. I wanted to go home. I wanted to hurry and get home. Because I had a little bride there that was waiting on me. Amen? And that's the way it is with the things of God. Now, where am I at? It says, now no chastising for the present seems to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. See that? It's difficult. It hurts while you're going through it. But the end results that it yields the fruit of righteousness. How many of you want to walk in righteousness? Amen. Amen. I'm almost done here. It says, wherefore lift up your hands which hang down. I heard a guy talking on the radio about somebody said that their knuckles dragged the ground. Talking about him being an ape, a monkey, an animal. It said, lift up your hands that hang down in your feeble knees. In other words,